You're not tired of life. You're tired of holding yourself together. Feel that tightness in your chest right now, that weight behind your eyes. That's not exhaustion from working too hard. That's the fatigue of performance. You're tired not from doing too much, but from trying to be someone other people need. When was the last time you rested without guilt, following you into the silence? When was the last time you stopped, without your mind, immediately drafting the next to-do list? You know that feeling when you finally have a free moment, and instead of relief, you feel anxiety. Like you're forgetting something crucial, like stillness itself is dangerous. That's not random. That's a message from your psyche trying to tell you something important. You collapse into bed, thinking you'll finally get peace, but even your dreams are auditions for approval. Even sleep has become another place where you're trying to prove something. Notice how even on vacation you're performing relaxation, posting the right photos, being grateful enough, recharging efficiently. You've turned rest itself into another achievement to optimize another metric to meet. The irony would be funny if it weren't so exhausting. There's something you need to understand about rest, something that changes everything. And if this already touches something true in you, stay with me, because we're going deeper than you've ever gone before. Let me paint you a portrait. See if you recognize yourself. You're successful on paper. Your life looks good from the outside. When people ask how you're doing, you say fine, and you mean it. Mostly. You achieve things. You check boxes, you show up. But there's something underneath you can't quite name. An emptiness that achievement never fills. A tiredness that sleep never cures. You rest, but you wake up more exhausted than when you lay down. Here's the question that unlocks everything. Why does resting feel like failure to you? Think about it. Really think. When you have a free afternoon with nothing scheduled, what happens? Within minutes, the guilt starts creeping in. You should be doing something. You should be productive. You should be better, faster, more. This didn't start yesterday. This started when you were young. You learned early that love was conditional on being good, helpful, successful. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe no one said it directly. But you felt it. The warmth when you performed well. The distance when you didn't. So you built an equation in your unconscious. Rest equals uselessness equals abandonment. And this equation runs automatically now. You don't even question it. It's like breathing. The moment you stop moving, stop producing, stop being useful, the alarm bells start ringing in your nervous system. Danger. You're falling behind. You're not enough. This is the tyranny of the should. You should be further along. You should be more successful. You should have it figured out by now. Every moment of rest becomes evidence of your inadequacy. Every pause becomes proof that you're failing some invisible standard you can't even name, but feel constantly judged by. Remember when you were praised for pushing through, for being strong, for not complaining. That's when the split began. That's when you learned that your real feelings, your real needs, your real exhaustion weren't acceptable. They had to be hidden, managed, overcome. Every weekend becomes a job interview for your own approval. You can't just be. You have to be doing something worthy of the time. Even your leisure is performed. Even your hobbies have metrics. There's a voice in your head that never stops auditing. Did you use the day? Well, were you present enough? Did you connect meaningfully? Did you rest productively? It's exhausting, isn't it? Even the act of evaluating whether you're resting, well, prevents you from actually resting. You scroll through your phone, telling yourself you're unwinding, but really, you're comparing. Everyone else seems to have figured out this balance thing. Everyone else looks peaceful, joyful, present. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. You're just caught in a mechanism you didn't design and don't fully see. And that mechanism has been running your life from the shadows. You collapse into bed, but your mind keeps working the night shift. Dreams of deadlines, unfinished tasks, people you've disappointed. Your body stops, but your psyche never does. It's running a 24-hour prosecution of everything you are and aren't. What you call rest is just switching which mask you wear. Work, mask off, good friend, mask on. Productive, mask off, fun, mask on. But underneath all of them, you're still performing. And the exhaustion isn't from the work itself, it's from the constant split. The gap between what you show and what you feel. That gap is where you're losing yourself. But why, what force is so powerful it won't let you stop? The answer has a name, the persona. Think of the persona as the face you learn to wear, not fake necessary. Like clothes for the soul. You wear kindness when you're furious, strength when you're breaking, competence when you're lost. It's not that you're lying, it's that you've learned which parts of yourself are acceptable and which must be hidden. The persona is the psychological interface between your inner world and outer demands. Without it, you couldn't function in society. You need it. But here's what most people never realize. You've worn it so long you forgot it's a costume. You think the mask is your face. Think of a moment this week when you said, "I'm fine," but weren't. Maybe someone asked how you were doing, and you smiled, nodded, said everything's great. But inside, you were screaming, or empty, or just profoundly tired. That gap between what you showed and what you felt, that's where you're losing yourself. Every time you perform, instead of being, the split widens. Every time you meet expectations, while ignoring your needs, something inside you recedes further into shadow. It's like living in a house where you've sealed off entire rooms. You move through the presentable spaces, the living room where you entertain guests, the kitchen where you appear functional. But behind locked doors are rooms you haven't entered in years. Rooms full of everything you couldn't afford to feel. And the energy it takes to keep those doors locked, to pretend those rooms don't exist. That's what's exhausting you. Beneath the persona lives your true self, the part that knows what you actually need, feel, want. The part that holds your rage, your grief, your unacceptable desires. Your real voice. But you exiled it because it was too honest, too vulnerable, too dangerous to the life you built. It's the part that wanted to quit the job everyone said you should be grateful for. The part that didn't want to smile at the family gathering. The part that felt rage when someone crossed your boundary, but you laughed it off instead. The part that wanted to scream but said, "I'm fine." So now it speaks in whispers. The anxiety that won't name itself. The emptiness that achievement never fills. The exhaustion that sleep can't cure. These aren't symptoms of failure. They're messages from the self you abandoned. They're your soul's increasingly desperate attempts to get your attention. You become a stranger in your own life, going through motions that look right, but feel hollow, achieving things that should make you happy but don't, resting in ways that should restore you, but leave you more depleted. And here's what most people miss. Rest is dangerous because it threatens the persona's survival. When you're busy, the persona is justified. You need it to function, to perform, to achieve. But when you're still, when you stop, the question arises, who am I when I'm not useful? Silence equals the return of the exiled self, and the persona knows it's about to be exposed. That's why when you try to rest, suddenly everything rises. Old memories you thought you'd forgotten. Nameless anxiety. The conversation from years ago that still stings. Regrets. Shame. An overwhelming urge to do something, anything to escape the silence. This isn't random. This is your psyche trying to maintain the split. Because if you actually rest, if you actually stop performing, you might discover something terrifying. You don't fear rest. You fear the truth that emerges in rest. You fear discovering you've been living someone else's life. You fear that beneath the persona, you won't find anything at all. Who are you when you're not useful to anyone? When you're not the strong one, the reliable one, the one who has it together? When you strip away every role, every achievement, every identity you've built, what's left? That question is so frightening that most people would rather stay exhausted than face it. They'd rather perform until they collapse than sit still long enough to hear the answer. And that fear has a name, a face, a voice: the shadow. You don't fear stillness. You fear meeting the version of you beneath the silence. The shadow isn't your dark side. It's not evil. It's everything you exiled to keep the persona intact. Your anger, your needs, your grief, your rage at being unseen. All the unacceptable parts you locked away to be loved. Think back to childhood. When were you told, don't cry, be good? Think of others. Each time you heard those words or felt that expectation, something happened. A part of you learned it wasn't safe to be seen. Your sadness was too much. Your anger was bad. Your needs were selfish. Maybe it was the time you cried and were told big kids don't cry. Maybe it was when you were angry and learned that anger makes you unlovable. Maybe it was when you asked for something and saw the look of disappointment, the subtle withdrawal of warmth. You learned quickly. Some parts of you were welcome. Others had to be hidden. So you split. You created a version of yourself that could be loved, the good child, and you buried everything else. Each command was a nail in the coffin of your true self. The shadow is your soul in exile banging on the door, and busyness is the psychological noise that drowns it out. As long as you're moving, achieving, performing, you don't have to hear the knocking. But rest is silence, and in that silence, the shadow can finally be heard. That's why when you lay down to rest, you suddenly feel worse. Guilt floods in. Old regrets surface. You remember that thing you said 10 years ago, the person you hurt, the opportunity you missed, the version of yourself you promised you'd become but never did. This isn't random. That's the shadow knocking. Your mind isn't filled with stress. It's filled with unmetabolized life. Emotions you never let yourself feel. Needs you never let yourself have. The person you never let yourself be. Every time you chose persona over self, that moment got stored in the shadow. Every time you smiled when you wanted to scream. Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you were strong when you needed to break. All of it accumulated, and now your psyche is so full of unlived life that rest feels like drowning. But here's the deepest layer, the reason you truly can't rest. You're afraid that if you stop performing, you'll stop being lovable. Somewhere, somehow, you learned that love is earned by being good enough. So rest feels like stopping the performance, and stopping the performance feels like inviting abandonment. What if you rest and discover you're not who you thought you were? What if you're not actually strong? What if beneath the competence is confusion? What if beneath the kindness is rage? What if you stop and find only emptiness? But here's what you need to understand. You can't be whole until you meet what's been hidden. The shadow doesn't hold your darkness, it holds your completeness. Every part you rejected in order to be acceptable, every emotion you suppressed to be loved, every need you denied to be good, that's not weakness. That's the rest of you. And until you reclaim it, you'll never truly rest. Because part of you will always be in exile, always be banging on the door, always be creating symptoms to get your attention. So what happens when you finally stop running? When the shadow speaks, There is a threshold, a moment when the soul says enough. Sometimes it's burnout. Sometimes it's a crisis. Sometimes it's just one more morning you can't get out of bed. The persona finally cracks, not because you're weak, because you're human. And beneath it, the shadow rises. This is not failure. This is initiation. When the persona cracks, what emerges is everything you've been running from. The fear of abandonment. The terror that you're only loved when useful. The belief that your worth is conditional. The little version of you who learned to perform to survive. And that child is still there, still trying to be good enough, still terrified of being too much or not enough, still carrying wounds that never got to heal because you never stopped long enough to feel them. The shadow doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to be seen. If your shadow could speak right now without filter, without judgment, what would it say? Maybe it would say, "I'm so tired of pretending I'm okay." Maybe it would say, "I'm angry at everyone who needed me when I needed me too." Maybe it would say, "I don't know who I am beneath all this." Maybe it would say, "I'm scared that if I stop being useful, no one will stay." Maybe it would say, "I've been waiting for you to notice me for so long." Say it out loud, even just to yourself. Let the shadow have a voice. This might be the first honest thing you've said in years, because here's where you stand at the choice point. Two paths open before you. The first path is suppression. Push it back down. Return to busyness. Pretend the crack never happened. Rebuild the persona stronger, tighter, more controlled. This is the path most people take, because it's familiar, because it feels like strength. But the soul remembers, and it will return louder. Next time, it won't be exhaustion. It might be illness. It might be a complete breakdown. The psyche has its own wisdom, and if you won't listen to whispers, it will eventually scream. The second path is integration. Turn toward the shadow, not with shame, not with fixing, with listening. This is what it means to consciously engage the unconscious, to create a relationship between the part that performs and the part that was exiled. To say to your shadow, "I see you. I'm here. Tell me what you need." Rest begins the moment you stop running from what rises in the silence. Try this, not as a technique, as an act of presence. Sit still. No music, no distractions, just you. Let whatever comes come. Anger, grief, fear, emptiness, the urge to check your phone, the guilt about wasting time. Let it all arise. And don't fix it. Don't therapize it. Don't make it mean something. Just say, "I see you. I'm here." This might feel awkward at first. You might feel foolish. That's okay. You're learning a new language. The language of being with yourself without agenda, without performance, without the need to make it productive or meaningful or correct. Just be. Just witness. Just stay. Watch what happens. The anger you rejected. It was trying to protect you. The grief you buried. It was love that never got to speak. The fear you avoided. It was the part of you that needed to be held. What you resist persists. What you embrace transforms. When you stop fighting yourself, when you turn toward the parts you've exiled, something miraculous happens. They soften. Not because you defeated them, because you included them. The shadow, when met without judgment, begins to integrate. The split starts to heal. And for the first time maybe in your entire life, you stop being at war with yourself. That's when rest finally becomes possible. Not as escape, but as homecoming. True rest isn't escape from life. It's return to life, but this time as yourself. Rest isn't inactivity, it's integrity. When persona and self finally stop warring, the psyche rests. Not because you're doing nothing, because you're no longer divided. Integration means bringing what was split back into wholeness. the light and the dark, the acceptable and the exiled, the mask and the face. This isn't about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about becoming a complete version, and it happens in small acts. Take 3 conscious breaths, not as meditation, as presence. Breathe and ask, where am I performing right now? Even in this moment, am I trying to do this right? Can I just be here, breathing, without making it mean anything? Notice the impulse to do it perfectly, to breathe correctly. That's the persona still trying to achieve even in rest. Smile at it. You don't have to fight it. Just notice. Even this breath can be reclaimed from the trance of productivity. Then give yourself 30 seconds of stillness. Not to clear your mind, to hear it. What thought arises first? That's what your psyche needs you to see. Maybe it's, I should be doing something. Maybe it's, this is stupid. Maybe it's a memory, a feeling, a nameless anxiety. Don't judge it, just notice. That's the beginning of consciousness. You're not trying to fix anything. You're just being present to what is. Now ask yourself one question. What am I holding that isn't mine? Sit with that. What expectations are you carrying that were never yours? What definitions of success, of worth, of goodness did you inherit without choosing? What version of yourself are you performing to satisfy someone who isn't even watching anymore? Rest is releasing what was never yours to carry. The parents' unlived dreams, the culture's definitions, the collective insistence that you be more, do more, achieve more. This isn't self-help, it's self-return. You're not becoming better. You're becoming you, and something shifts. Before integration, rest equals guilt. Stillness equals anxiety. Silence equals threat. But after rest becomes reclamation. Stillness becomes power. Silence becomes home. You'll know integration is happening when rest no longer feels like failure. When you can sit with yourself without needing to be productive. When the shadow is no longer enemy, it's simply you. The angry part, the sad part, the scared part, all held in the wholeness of who you are. You'll notice it in small moments. You'll decline an invitation without elaborate justification. You'll sit in your car for 5 minutes, doing absolutely nothing, and not feel guilty. You'll feel anger rise, and instead of suppressing it, or feeling ashamed, you'll think, there you are, and listen to what it's protecting. The voice that used to prosecute you constantly will soften, not because you silenced it, but because you understood it. It was never trying to hurt you. It was trying to keep you safe, keep you loved, keep you from the pain of rejection. Thank it. And then, gently, with compassion, tell it, I've got this now. In a world addicted to performance, rest is rebellion. Every time you rest without guilt, you're refusing the collective trance. Every time you choose presence over productivity, you're dismantling the persona's tyranny. Individuation, becoming who you truly are, requires rest, because you cannot find yourself while running from yourself. And when you finally rest, when you integrate, you become something the world isn't prepared for. The world fears the one who is no longer afraid to be themselves. Here's what happens when you learn to rest deeply, truly, integratively. You can't be controlled. When you're no longer performing, no one can manipulate you with approval or rejection. You know who you are beneath the noise. The carrot and stick that moves everyone else no longer works on you. You can't be bought. Your worth isn't tied to achievement, so the promises of more money, more status, more recognition don't hook you the way they used to. You rest because you choose to, not because you collapsed. That's power. You can't be shaken. Others' opinions become whether not gospel. Criticism doesn't destroy you because you've already met your worst fear, the shadow, and survived. What can the world show you that's worse than what you've already faced in yourself. You become present. Not loud, not aggressive present. And presence in a world of performance is the most disruptive force there is. Think about the people you know who have real power, not the ones who shout loudest or achieve most. The ones who enter a room and change it just by being there. The ones who speak and people listen. The ones who are silent and people feel it. They share one quality they are not performing. They have integrated enough of themselves that they no longer need to prove anything. They rest in who they are, and that rest makes them magnetic, unshakable free. You've felt it, haven't you? That rare person who makes you feel like you can breathe around them, who doesn't need you to be anything other than what you are, who holds space without trying to fix, impress, or manage. That's what integrated presence feels like. And it's magnetic precisely because it's so rare. Most people are performing so hard they create tension everywhere they go. But the rested soul creates space, peace, permission. Just by being themselves, they give others permission to be themselves too. That's the power of wholeness. Learn to rest deeply, truly integratively, and you stop being a character in someone else's story. You become the author of your own. You will no longer chase. You will choose. You will no longer perform. You will be. You will no longer fear yourself. You will know yourself. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And rest. Rest is the doorway. So if you're exhausted, truly exhausted, not just in body but in soul, this is your invitation. Stop. Sit. Listen. Let the shadow speak. Let the persona fall. Let yourself return. You've been performing for so long, you forgot what it feels like to simply be. You've been holding yourself together with such force, you forgot what happens when you let go. You've been afraid of stillness because you thought it would reveal your weakness. But what if it reveals your strength? Not the strength of endurance, the strength of presence, of wholeness, of truth. The world needs rested souls more than productive ones. Because rested souls, they're dangerous, they're free, they're real. They cannot be manipulated by fear or seduced by empty promises. They see through the games because they've stopped playing. They live from a different place, a place of integration, of peace, of power that doesn't need to announce itself. Learn to rest so well it makes you dangerous. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to the illusions, dangerous to the systems that depend on your exhaustion, dangerous to the voices that profit from your self-doubt. And watch what becomes possible when you stop abandoning yourself, when you stop performing and start being, when you rest so deeply that you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. That person is still here, waiting, in the silence you've been running from, in the rest you've been afraid to take. Come home.